Usually when documentaries are made about the making of a film, the work of the choreographer and the dances as they're created are rarely seen. So consequently, not a lot of people know about the choreographic process or know exactly what I do. Being a director myself, I decided to take my own little Sony DV and shoot a lot of my own footage so that I could create small videos illustrating exactly what I did and how the dance elements were composed for Dancer in the Dark. The other way I use the footage is knowing that we were going to have these pieces created a long time beforehand and not come back to them till much, much later. I do it so that it serves our memory. I'm able to capture it on video, an incredible instrument tool for me, so that when I come back to it a month later, 6 weeks later, boom, I've got the visual record right there in front of me, and I can instantaneously recreate it. 5, 6, 7, 8. The way I usually work is that I get a piece of music, I put it in a CD player, and I listen to it about 100 times or more. I let the music talk to me. It describes what it wants to be. I then went into a rehearsal space with my assistant, Meta Berggren.
4, 5, arabesque, something. 6, 7, 8. Jump out here, jump this way. 4, something that goes over. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Then I went in with a small skeleton crew of dancers, assembled the piece. All of us spent the first month in Copenhagen putting as much on its feet as we possibly could, even though some of us had to remain a little sketchy until we got the other principal actors, because you always mold and remold depending on what they do and what works best for their bodies. All of the principal actors weren't there at the time, so I basically had Björk, Catherine came in and out, and my skeleton crew and the rest of the dancers. The first piece that I began to work on when I was there was In the Musicals Part 1, which takes place in the rehearsal room. I did this because it was predominantly a piece for Björk, and I wanted to right away get in the room with her. So I began to explore some movement with her to see how fast she could pick up. She picked up everything so fast, it was amazing. And it was an incredible litmus test for me. The faster she picked up, the more I was able to come back in the next day and give her. After teaching it to Björk, I would bring in then my whole group of people, because there were only about 15 people in that piece. And I taught them the steps in the rehearsal room, the gymnasium. Then I was able to take them into the Sound of Music rehearsal room and put them in that space and alter things according to the geography. This was all accomplished in a very short period of time, 3 days, maximum 4 days on a project. The way I created Smith & Wesson, which was the piece that happens with Selma dancing with Bill after she's killed him, there was no way I could create that in a rehearsal situation. I had to be in the house. I had to feel what it felt like to walk in those rooms. So Meta and myself went to the house, and we had a sound system, and I just began to create. I play both parts as I create, and then I would show it to Meta and ask her to play the opposite part, and put it together in this space, imagining what it would be like for Selma to be trying to get forgiveness after committing this horrible crime. And being in that space was fantastic for me because I could really approach it emotionally.
Just feels so wrong.
This piece is called I've Seen It All. It's the piece on the train. And what you're going to see is some of the rehearsal footage I shot during my early formative stages of creating the choreography in the studio in Sweden. But you'll also see 2 master takes I took over 2 days of rehearsal on location in the Swedish countryside with Björk and Peter Stormare.
I've seen it all. I have seen the trees. I have seen the willow leaves dancing in the breeze. I've seen a man killed by his best friend, and lives that were over before they were spent. I've seen what I was, and I know what I'll be. I've seen it all. There is no more to see. Just undone when down in
You haven't seen elephants, kings, or Peru.
I'm happy to say I had better to do.
What about China? Have you seen the Great Wall?
All walls are great if the roof doesn't fall.
And the man you will marry, the home you will share.
To be honest, I really don't care.
You've never been to Niagara Falls.
I have seen water, it's water, that's all.
The Eiffel Tower, the Empire State.
My pulse was as high on my very first day.
Your grandson's hand as he plays with your head.
To be honest, I really don't care. With laughter and roots and dear, it undo. little spark. I've seen what I choose and seen what I need, and that is enough to one more would be greed. I've seen what I was and I know what I'll be. I've seen it all, there is no more to see.
This piece you're going to see has had 3 different titles at different times. It was called the Factory Dance, it was called the Clatter Song, and it was also called the Cavalda Song. So what you're going to see is an intercut version of 2 masters of sketches of the dance in the factory before all the machines were even in place.
Music. Now dance. Listen, qualita, you're the dancer. You got the sparkle.
This is the courtroom scene, or In the Musicals Part 2, which features Björk and Joel Grey. Predominantly, you'll see one master take I took of the piece after I had created it so that I could remember it when we came back to it several weeks later to shoot it. But you'll also see some cuts of some of my rehearsals that I shot with my 7-member skeleton dance crew. You'll also see some shots from my camera, which I had hidden while we were actually shooting the performance.
Why do I love you so much? What kind of magic is this? How come I can't help adore you? You were in a musical.
I didn't mind it at all, that you were having a ball at my musical. And I was always there to catch you.
You were always there to catch me. You were always there to catch me. You were always there to catch me when I'd fall.
I don't mind it at all if you're having a ball. This is your musical. I'll always be there to catch you.
You will always be there to catch me.
I'll always be there to catch you.
You will always be there to catch me. When I fall.
Will the court please rise?
9, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 8, 39.
When I first started to create Selma's walk to the gallows through the prison corridor, Lars decided that perhaps we should take a different perspective on Selma's fantasies and imagination, and rather than keep her always in an optimistic frame of mind when she went into this fantasy world, perhaps I should experiment with delving into the fear. I slotted in a section that was put in between Selma's walk down the corridor through the cells and her entrance to the hanging stage. It was a very bizarre and strange piece, very abstract and surreal, sort of somewhere in between Picasso's Guernica and a painting by Hieronymus Bosch. It wound up never being in the final cut of the film, but I think it was a pretty interesting experiment nonetheless. We had a set created that was a series of suspended cages, metal cages. It was very interesting and very frightening. It consisted of all of men prisoners. They were in the cages, they were hanging off the sides. They were underneath on the floor as if it was sort of hell below. And Selma, with the guards, takes this walk through this passageway, this small labyrinth, and then opens the door and steps out into the hanging gallows.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Crazy, right? No, switch. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, then directed to her. Everything that you're doing, no matter what location that you're in, has to be directed to Selma from wherever she walks all the way through. So if you're up high, like you are, or tall like you are, you still have to look down. The same thing for you guys. Wherever you are, you've got to find her and follow her path through here, because this is all her horror fantasy. Whenever you can, you look to send that energy to her as she moves along that whole path. 5, 6, 7, 8.
I wanted it to be extremely surreal, so I added a lot of naked prisoners in there, because I thought that if we're going to go there, we really should go there. It was hard finding guys to do that at first, but the combination of the heat, the combination of hearing this amazing segment of music, eventually people felt so free and realized that it wasn't gratuitous nudity, it was nudity that showed how vulnerable and exposed prisoners were in a situation like that.
You can hit the wall if you want. You can hit that grating on the window if you want. It's never supposed to be like you're hitting the prisoners. The frustration is that you can't hit the prisoners. Okay, so that's the point. You know, be in character by the time you hear 99, all right, or 98. So you're not frozen prior to that. You're already in some form of movement or walking or energy or pacing or this, or just so that it has a breath to it. So when the doors open up, even though you don't start the movement until 100 or 101, we're not opening it up into a space where nothing is alive. Anytime you're shaking stuff and rattling stuff, you can feel free to yell and scream. Okay? All right. I'd like to try this just with the music once. Here we go. 97, 98, 99.
100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, 128, 129, 130, 131, 132, 133, 134, 135, 136, 137, 138, 139, 140,